What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beers and. Today, we're going to be talking about
Beers and
you can't wear white after Labor Day. Don't you know?
You plebe. What were you going to go for?
I don't even know.
Oh, all right.
It was not going to be nice. I'm glad you cut me off. Thank you very much. Nicholas.
Alexander.
We're back again, baby.
We are. We're back.
And we have a very tasty-looking beer today.
I hope so, actually, because now that I'm thinking about it, it's all grayscale. Which
is all grayscale. Is that a problem?
No, not particularly. Oh. I like my beer cans like I like my tattoos, colorless.
Oh, okay. I did not think that's where you're going. I like my beer cans like I like my morals in life.
Frothy?
No, gray.
Oh, gray.
Gray areas. Come on.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Beers and. Come check us out on YouTube. You can come see what beer we're drinking today. It's Abomination Brewing, Wandering into the Fog.
Love it.
Check it out on Beers and Podcast. That's over on YouTube. And you can also come check us out over on the socials at TikTok and Instagram. Mm-hmm. Same thing, Beers and Podcast. And if you didn't catch it last episode, we are now on Amazon Music. Same thing, Beers and Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Have them tell their friends and their family. And
exactly.
Before you know it, everyone will know.
Everyone will know.
And then you'll be here.
And everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, thank you so much. We love you.
It helps us out, but it also helps you guys out because then you'll know.
Take our money. Thank you so much.
Make it rain. No, but you guys will know, too, what beers are good.
Exactly.
Right? And what we think of them, which
which
is important.
The most important, I'd say.
Okay, glad we're
That's
on the
what
same
I'm
page.
here for.
Glad we're on the same page.
Could you imagine if I wasn't actually interested in what we had to say at all?
Like, I'm just here because Alex, blink twice if you're held hostage. That was once. Okay, we're good.
Oh, okay.
That was just one time.
See, couldn't even follow the directions correctly, so we're doing great.
If you guys have been following, we had a Wandering into the Fog, but the gingerbread version, which was...
It was delicious.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
We had that now at this point. Poof, almost, again, it was Christmas. That was our Christmas episode.
Yeah, we're getting back to close to... We're almost coming up on the next Christmas. So
oh, boy. All right.
Hopefully we'll get another gingerbread beer.
Exactly.
For that. So you can't wear white after Labor Day.
You can't.
Do you know why?
Damn it.
We're going to get into it later. So
okay, good.
So it's okay.
Say, I have no idea.
And if you don't, please stick around for us to tell you.
Yeah, I usually do just to be, like, just to see if somebody will point it out to me, which I know no one will.
No one ever will.
Guess who's the first guy at this table that I pointed out if someone else's?
Oh, I would totally.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you know what? I would do it too.
I forgot exactly who I was sitting with at the table and realized that it would be the two of us going, you don't do that at all. And someone would go, the fuck do you care
Do you know what today is?
Damn it.
Because it's after Labor Day.
It's after Labor Day.
Strip. Just kidding. Okay, so Labor Day.
We're
getting in the holiday spirit. Mm-hmm. Everyone has off for the most part.
More or less.
A transitioning of the seasons. You know, everyone's coming back to school or back from summer vacation to college.
Unofficial end of summer.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. But let's get into this beer.
Yeah, let's go.
So we were talking about the gingerbread one, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I will admit that I thought this was a single hop series because every time I've ever seen it, it is Wandering into the Fog with on big letters, Mosaic, Nelson Sauvin, Azaka, Galaxy. This one, my friend, actually doesn't say anything at all.
It says double.
Yes, but it doesn't. Oh
God, I don't know what
little
demon
froggy
just came
there,
up.
sorry.
Excuse me for that, and it's coming up out of the fog.
There's no hop highlight.
Oh,
so which I thought this was a strictly like highlight the hop beer, but it's not. So I'm not exactly sure what's in here.
Ooh,
so we should play. Guess this hop.
Guess that hop.
Okay, before we get into the beer,
I don't know. I thought
what are we gonna do? This is a beer podcast, everyone, by the way. We're going to do question of the day.
Let's do it.
So I am going to give you 4 choices, and I want you to make one of them go away forever.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. You know what? I'll give everybody a behind the scenes. You did not know I didn't know that you had just said, how about these? What are these 4? How does this sound? And I said, sure. I like the way that works.
So we're going takeout version.
Oh, no.
One of these things must go.
Okay.
All right. This is not going to be easy. Pizza, tacos, burgers, Chinese food.
tacos.
God help us. Wow, that fast, huh?
Yeah. I'm just going based on what we've ordered most recently.
Okay. I feel like, and I don't mean to offend anyone by this. This is strictly demographical. You live by a bunch of white people.
Oh, I know I do.
I feel like you don't have good taquerias.
I actually, no, that's a bold-faced lie.
Okay.
So I do have, everyone always not directed at you. Asbury Park is still very split. Anybody that wants to, pretend like it's not, it is. But big Hispanic population. Actually,
did not know that.
Oh.
Up here, too.
You know what, then? Next time you're down, straight up, no questions asked, I'm going to take you out, and we're going to go to...
Say no more. I don't even care.
The taqueria right on Main Street. This place, it's one of those places where, for reference, when you go in and you say, I'd like a margarita, they say okay, because there's only one margarita. It's with salt or without salt. That's it.
I love
it.
That.
Is a perfect lime, margarita.
I love that.
Beautiful.
My dad would gripe because he wouldn't be able to get it frozen.
Oh, no, maybe that's what it is. If they give it frozen or on the rocks, and those are your only two choices.
And salt or no salt.
Yes.
That's like a big thing. Do you like salt on your...
No.
You don't?
Not particularly, no.
At all?
Not big. Not really. I find that it gets into the crevices of my lips, and it burns.
You got some dry-ass lips.
Sometimes. But you are very correct in the fact that, yes, whole bunch of whiteys that live down by me.
Factual.
So that's probably
tacos.
Yeah, Nancy also isn't a big fan of like spicy food as much. We've gone out for Mexican a couple times, or tacos, but I like spicier stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Man, that was really easy for you. It's not that easy for me.
No?
No, I would have to go Chinese though, which is like really hurts me because I could eat General Tso's until the cows come home.
Yeah. I told you my whole thing that I used to do for the longest time.
What?
When I order Chinese food, I order online, but whenever I put directions, I always use the pronoun we, even if I'm just ordering for myself, because I order so much Chinese food that I think that they're under the impression like, oh, they're ordering for an entire family.
And they give you like 4 sets of forks.
Oh, all the time.
Wait, so what do you get? Now I gotta know.
Well, because of the fact is that, and I don't know what it was like at the Chula household necessarily on Chinese food night, but for us, everybody would get, like, we would all
family
share.
Style it.
Yes, we never had,
that's cool.
Oh, you get your own thing, I get my own thing. We always had family style. So I'm used to having a little bit of, roast pork lo mein, maybe some egg foo young, maybe some chicken and broccoli.
Okay.
Beef and Chinese vegetables, shrimp toast, steamed dumplings, fried dumplings.
Do it all. Shrimp toast, I will say, is very underrated.
Very underrated. Love it.
It seems a little weird, but just get past it.
Go for it.
Yeah, get past it and put it in your mouth. I love crab rangoon.
Oh, love me. My God.
Yeah.
Sometimes we sit there at home and I go to Nick, I'm like, I don't know if I should get the shrimp toast or the crab rangoon. And he's like, you're going to get both. Just get both. I was like, but we should save a couple bucks. He goes, Nick, just order both. You know you're going to be upset halfway through the meal looking for it.
Right?
And I love it every time.
What a great guy.
Great guy. Supports me in all of my fatness.
Yeah, crab rangoon. Okay, this is a very important question. Fried or steamed dumplings?
Steamed.
Same.
I like the steamed.
Yeah. I don't know why, like, the fried, they're never good.
No. Well, it depends who they're from.
Well,
I prefer a fried wonton.
I was just going to say, I'm not talking about wontons. Okay.
Right.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do as well. I would prefer a fried wonton over a fried dumpling, but steamed dumplings overall.
Yes, 100%.
And if you don't give it to me with like a really vinegary sauce,
exactly,
I'm going to be sad.
Then I don't want it.
Yeah. I've had it recently with like allspice in it.
Ooh.
And I was not into it.
Really?
Yeah.
The sauce?
Yeah, it wasn't vinegary.
Oh,
it was more on the sweeter side with allspice.
I'm so upset at the fact is that, well, no, I shouldn't say upset. I'm going home to like a very healthy meal tonight.
Chinese,
and I'm like, oh God, what I would do right now. I have single-handedly put my Chinese food places children through college, and like I will continue to do it. They say that your delivery will be in 40 minutes, and let me tell you, those sons of bitches are there within 25.
That's awesome.
Every single time they see that it's me.
We took out turkey for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
And I checked earlier, and it is still frozen.
Oh, yeah. Turkey,
so,
you gotta like.
Oh, yeah.
Defrost overnight.
Oh, we did.
Oh,
still very frozen.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a good excuse to order out.
Oh, I like that. I also like the fact that you're having a turkey in
I hope
August.
my wife's listening. Why did you? Is it just not okay to have turkey before Labor Day?
I was just watching a 2020 episode where someone had killed someone else and they found a turkey baster. And the first thing that they had said, they were like, who has a turkey in the middle of such and such month? It was like March.
Is turkey strictly for November?
I mean, I've never...
Because I prefer to not have...
Never made turkey, so I don't know.
I prefer to not have turkey during Thanksgiving.
I'm starving right now.
Yeah, we should stop talking about food and just...
Get down on this.
Yeah.
Love this
beautiful
color.
Way different than our last beer.
Very, very
way different. I feel like there's Galaxy in here.
Yeah, this has a lot more of that stone fruit.
Yeah.
A lot more.
This actually might have El Dorado.
I'm getting a lot more of that apricot peach on the nose.
Yeah.
Much more.
Yep. It almost smells like kind of I can't put my finger on it.
It's a little extra earthy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a little extra earthy. I'm thinking that might be some of that El Dorado then that's coming through.
I actually do think that there's El Dorado in here, so
cheers.
Cheers up, sir.
Ooh.
Way different.
It is very interesting how I find that a decent amount of what we have usually has a little bit more of the bitter and will kind of give way to more of the stone fruits. I'm getting a lot of the sweetness kind of up front and then giving way, but it's not a super bitter one. It's more earthy.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
And it's like calling it sweet isn't really a good thing to say, but that's the only way to describe it. It's got like, it doesn't have a grapey note, but I feel like it's right there.
Yeah, it's on that cusp of almost a little sour, if you will. A little bit.
But not bad.
No. Not by any means. Almost like it's a white grape rather than like a Concord grape.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually stumped. I do want to say Galaxy because that was my first thought. First thought, best thought. I say that a lot. And I feel like, go with your gut. That's usually true.
I'm going Simcoe El Dorado.
I do think there's El Dorado in here.
Yeah.
I think El Dorado and Galaxy.
Okay. Let's see. This week on Beers and...
Okay, so this is brewed with a heavy wheat and oat malt bill, hopped and double dry hopped aggressively, 7+ pounds per barrel.
Wow.
Oh, okay, we were not close. Oh, we would not have got these. Okay, Mosaic, Pacific Jade, Citra, Summit, and Enigma.
I don't think we've had a couple of Pacific Jade.
Pacific Jade, I'm definitely not familiar with.
Summit,
I'm not familiar with. And Enigma, we might have had recently, but for the first time.
I really enjoyed this, though.
This
is a very unique IPA.
It's different. So we said it was from Abomination Brewing, but we've talked about it before. They all brew Abomination, is it Hoof Hearted, and one more out of 12%. They all can and distribute out of the same.
Correct.
I think it's Hoof Hearted, and there's one more I'm forgetting. But yeah, this is different.
I'm very, very intrigued by this one.
Yeah, it's got a different and it's got to be the hops, like a composition that we're not used to flavor wise.
Which is so nice because don't get me wrong, we love our IPAs. We are at the end of the day, we are still,
if it's not hazy, send it back.
30-year-old white men. We do love our IPAs, but this is so nice to have something that is genuinely unique.
So we've had the gingerbread one, but we really can't compare it because it's not the same. I have had a few of the other single variant ones, and I will admit that I like those more.
Really?
And I don't know if it's because
I'm saying that like I've had other ones.
Well, I don't know if it's the same base recipe and then they just only hop it with that one hop, or is it just that one hop all the way through from kettle to cold side all the way through?
I think we're gonna have to definitely have another Abomination sooner than later.
Definitely.
And put it to bed because I'm genuinely impressed by this.
This is really good.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to be higher than I am.
Probably.
Because of that stone fruit. Sometimes it's like a little coconut-y to me.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of it. You can see that, right?
Yes. My gut reaction, I would like I don't know if we were just chatting too much about Chinese food. I would like a little bit more head on it. I don't think that it lasted nearly as long as I would have liked. However, I am still feeling my gut's telling me 417. I'm very
okay. You're right in line with the average on Untappd.
Oh, really?
Which is 4.15.
Oh,
so here's something interesting.
Okay.
I just looked at the bottom to look at the can date.
Yeah,
and it's fine. June 8th, which is not that long ago.
Correct.
But it says Galaxy on there.
I wonder what that means.
I wonder if this can was labeled wrong. Is it supposed to be the Galaxy variant?
Oh,
because, and we're gonna fact check.
Do we
this.
have a mystery? Beers and mystery.
That's gonna be a good show. So there is in fact a Galaxy variant of this.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's called
same thing. Wandering into the Fog.
Oh.
But just highlighted.
That's fascinating.
Oh, okay. So okay. So here we go. We got our answer.
What do we got?
It is the exact same base recipe of Mosaic, Pacific Jade, Citrus Summit, no Enigma, a ton of Galaxy.
Really?
But I don't think this is a Galaxy variant. I think that's a misprint on the bottom.
That would be fascinating. That's like our golden ticket. Do we get to go through the Abomination?
Do we get to meet the Willy Wonka of beer?
I feel like he's a tricky man to work with.
I'm okay with becoming an Oompa Loompa.
You see, Willy Wonka's already kind of a weird dude to begin with. And I feel like if there was a drunk Willy Wonka, I would be horrified.
That would not be okay.
No, not at all.
We've talked about this before. You guys know my theory on Oompa Loompas.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm okay. If it means I get to meet the Willy Wonka of beer, I will become an Oompa Loompa slave.
I just went on a deep dive about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory recently.
You did?
We've been watching Pawn Stars, and someone was
great show.
Great show.
Love it. Not a fan. Not a sponsor of the show. Great show though.
Great show.
Yeah.
And someone was like giving away like memorabilia, or like trying to sell memorabilia, and they were like, "What is it?" And I was like, "I bet it's an everlasting gobstopper. It's got to be an everlasting gobstopper." And they did. They had one of the everlasting gobstoppers.
Wait, from the
oh yeah, it was movie.
No
it
shit.
was movie props. They were giving they had his hat. They had an everlasting gobstopper, and they had one of the eggs that the golden
No
goose.
kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they get a lot of money for?
I think they got a decent amount for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that because everything was like authenticated and all that.
You know,
stuff.
those gobstoppers in the movie, they never looked appealing.
They because they looked like they were like jagged.
They look like jacks.
Yeah.
I haven't played jacks.
Neither have I. I also have never been a
time.
child of like the Great Depression. So
Did you never play jacks?
No.
Oh, I did.
Did you play marbles too?
No, I never got that. You know, I never like understood actual marbles. I would just like get a bunch of them and throw them on the floor.
Oh, sure. Your parents enjoyed
very
that.
Safe. When I was a kid, I used to take the twine or the yarn in the drawers.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about this. Maybe not.
I feel like I would remember any story would say.
Buckle up, buddy. I used to take the twine or yarn in the drawer. It was yarn because it was different colored. And I would go around and tie it to every
like doorknob?
handle and doorknob and cabinet in the entire house. And then just like see if I could open one and have them all open.
Not that this phrase was ever said aloud in my household,
fun.
But spare the rod and spoil the child, because that shit was not going on in Rena's household. Not under Rena's roof. Hell no.
I mean, I feel like the first 2 times it was okay, but then when I found the yarn again and kept doing it, that's when I got the like, okay, Alex, cut the shit. Because they kept having to cut the yarn because I would tie it so tight
that
they wouldn't be able to get it off.
What kind? God forbid a fire ever broke out at that exact moment.
It's like laser. You know, like when you get a duck and dodge on the lasers.
No.
Yeah, I could keep myself occupied when I was a kid. I can't do it anymore.
Oh, you see, and now I can do it.
You definitely can.
I'm very good at it.
We told the story about the time we locked you in the vestibule.
Oh yes. Come on. And now that I'm relegated to have to smoke in the bathroom. I don't want to talk about it.
That's okay.
Do you want to talk about? What is your rating on this one?
What did you give it? 4.17, right? Yeah, I'm a little lower, like 3.95.
All right. You know what? We kind of split.
We split the last one.
Roughly about the same.
It's the stone fruit.
I'm liking it quite a bit.
It's just on the border of too much coconut for me.
You see, and I think I like it just because I think it is a really nice late summer beer.
By the way, it's really tasty.
I'm super glad that you and I look like we are ready to go ahead and lead the Samba line on the Lido deck.
I'm always ready to lead the Samba line.
That's true. You and I are very, very.
I'll start the Samba line.
As we get older too, I have less and less chagrins about making not a fool of myself.
No,
but at a wedding, I don't be the first person on the floor at this point. Like, what are we standing around for? It's time to dance. Now it's time to dance. Now we have to dance.
We need more friends like you.
Thank you.
We
need more friends like you.
Thank you. We are very festive.
You
need more friends like us.
Friends like us.
Yeah, tell your friends about us. You know what's funny is I was just thinking about a couple episodes ago we did the Beelzebub episode, and you made a comment about how I had all the devil's gear.
Yes,
and it actually was an accident.
I think it was.
It really was, because I'll tell you my thought process. I was in the closet and I'm like, all right, I don't want to wear a t-shirt for the episode. Like, oh, I'm gonna wear a polo. Yeah, and I'm going through. I'm like, no, too small. And I literally, my last choice was
really
the devil's polo.
Well, if that's not a sign that the devil exists.
If you believe in him. Just saying. Yeah. All right. So 3.95.
Okay.
I didn't say 3.97 just because you had a 7.
That's fine.
But I really wanted it.
That's okay. I think that's fine. I like that.
It's like when I'm out to dinner with my wife and I really want something on the menu. And I always let her go first. Yeah. Ladies first to order. And anything. And she orders it. I'm like, now I got to pick something else.
Oh, yeah. We don't have that necessarily.
No?
That is no. Actually, in fact, very recently when we had gone out, it was one of those things where, we had kind of went through the menu, and it was one of those things where after a while we had decided, we were like, okay, let's actually, you order one, I'll order the other, and then we'll switch halfway through.
That's the pinnacle of relationships.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to unhinge my jaw and eat what was in front of me, but I kept, as a result, just almost
nibbling,
picking at it. Nick got so frustrated and just goes, why don't you just keep eating that and I'll just keep eating this? And I was like, why? He goes, because it is driving me insane watching you eat each little piece of pasta.
But I get where you're coming from,
one at a time.
Because you want to savor it.
Oh, I do.
Especially if you know you're not going to have the rest of it.
Exactly. That motherfucker had the rest of the lobster. Meanwhile, oh yeah, he had the rest of the lobster, which I'm very happy about.
I don't like lobster, but well, not that I don't like lobster, but I would never go out somewhere and order just lobster.
We were at a nicer place. Okay. So it was one of those things where usually I'm not going to go out and order a lobster, but we were at a nicer place where I was like, okay.
I would even prefer lobster ravioli.
Okay. Yeah.
Before I order an actual lobster. I would never order an actual lobster.
You see, I love a good. It depends.
If I know that when I eat.
Oh, well, that's what it is.
Me.
But that's the difference. If you go to a good place,
it's cracked for you.
Already cracked for you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not working. I'm not touching my hands.
So I'm just going to the wrong places.
That's exactly
essentially.
What it is. That's exactly what it is.
There's a lobster roll place around here that I won't order from.
The hell are we doing this damn podcast for?
Well, it's Union. You want a lobster from Union or you want a lobster from Asbury?
Neither.
Fair enough.
Actually,
say no more. All right, we hinted at it with the intro.
Yes,
and I am going to dive into it.
Yeah, please tell me why can't we wear white?
Why can't we wear white after Labor Day? It's kind of silly.
Is it?
It really is. Okay. All right. So apparently this is very controversial at one time. So one theory that I read that a lot of people subscribe to.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. One theory a lot of people subscribe to is that it was a way for classes, societal classes, to keep separated.
Oh, kind of makes sense.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let me explain.
Please.
So in the late 19th century, it turns out that like ladies of elite society were we're in a bit of a battle with what the article described, which was marieclaire.com.
Okay.
As the nuovo ricche. So like
the
newly rich.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So they only thought that they could win this battle by subtly manipulating fashion.
Ooh.
Sounds freaking ridiculous, but whatever. I mean, 19th century, whatever. So in an effort to separate new money from old money, the rule was made, you can't wear white after Labor Day. So according to Valerie Steele, who is the director of the museum at the Fashion Institute of Technology, she says that this was a ploy by insiders, so like the old money elitists, to keep the new money out and set rules so that you could tell a person's class by how they follow the dress rule.
That
it's genius.
A lot of sense.
It's genius. It's really like dark and kind of twisted, but it's genius.
Yeah.
So,
and just to reinforce that idea, how much are we at this juncture in time like brand snobs?
Oh, for sure.
Like it's the same exact thing. I used to always make the argument like with my class where I was like, the fuck is the difference between a black pullover fleece and a North Face blue pullover black fleece? They're the exact same thing.
It's just the brand.
The price point.
Yeah.
And exactly.
Subsequently, exactly. Okay. So according to... so back in the day, white was considered to be vacation attire and worn by people for those who had money and could leave the city for vacation. So according to author Charlie Shipes, if you look at any photograph of any city from the 1930s, you'll notice all dark attire. Gray suits, black suits, blue suits, all dark.
Yeah.
This actually goes a bit further than just the comfort, bless you.
Excuse me, thank you.
And vacationing. So back then it was kind of like an upturned nose kind of thing. You know, like not only can we afford the white clothes, but our jobs don't make them dirty. So we can wear them all the time.
Right.
Whereas like even people with money, but like worked those more difficult or like grimier jobs would wear dark clothes because they didn't want to dirty their clothes. So I think it's interesting that like white, like, oh, it's got to be white. You know, like you can picture what I'm saying, the linen suits, the Panama hats,
absolutely.
You know, the cream color.
Well, I'm even thinking about like the women's fashion of like the shirt waists at the time. They were the like higher waist skirts and whatnot.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it really was just like a ploy.
Talk about the goddamn irony.
I know. Well, yeah, because
it's Labor Day, but it is an elitist.
I didn't even think of that.
I was trying to like connect it in my brain a couple different times.
Think about it that way.
Yeah. Well, this is a day of celebration or a day of commemoration, acknowledgement of the working class.
Maybe a little foreshadowing.
I would say so. I think so.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about it that way. It's even more perplexing to think about it that way because it's almost like the like a stab from the upper society, you know, like this is a day about you, but we're still going to make it about us. You can't wear white.
Exactly. Wow.
So like people who weren't like in with the crowd would wear white, and that's how upper class elitists would be able to weed them out from who like is actually part of the society or who's not.
That is fascinating.
It's bizarre.
Fascinating.
Yeah. There's probably some stuff like that going on today.
Oh.
That we'll find out about in another 40, 50 years. This went on for a while until I think it was like into the 50s.
Well, so the fact that you had mentioned it to begin with, so like it pretty much coincides with the establishment of Labor Day to begin with. All came about in the late 19th century.
Okay, I didn't even realize it was. It was then.
Oh yeah, all exactly at that same exact period of time. Same exact period of time.
Why don't you regale me?
So I'll tell you a little bit then.
Okay.
What was that?
Regale me with a tale.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say.
I want to be regaled.
I'm going to start off short and give just some like basic background, and then I've got a longer piece perhaps for a little bit later on in the episode.
Okay, yeah, I'll break it up for you.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So, why in September? That was one of the things that I was kind of curious about. In particular, because the fact is that May Day, which is May 1st, is often the day where like labor is celebrated around the rest of the world. It's International Workers' Day is May 1st.
Oh.
So there are a few different theories, although Peter J. McGuire is often credited with establishing the date in September. So McGuire was the vice president of the American Federation of Labor and initially proposed a day in spring of 1882 after he had visited Toronto to celebrate May Day. Ultimately, though, he wound up proposing the first Monday in September as it was ideal for picnics and outdoor events and parades. And it's also, if you look at the place on the calendar, it's right in between 4th of July and Thanksgiving, which are both public holidays.
Okay. Wow.
So
it's that easy.
It's that easy. So it was the first kind of like real celebration, like I said, was in 1882. In fact, and I'll throw a photo up real quick. There are actually like photos of the first kind of like Labor Day parade in Union Square in New York from that year, which is pretty goddamn cool.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. However, it was in 1887 that the first state recognized Labor Day as a public holiday. Want to guess the state?
Is it New Jersey?
No.
Is it?
It is a state that has something. The only other state that has something extraordinarily unique in common with New Jersey. I don't know why that's my go-to for like.
Is it New York?
Oregon.
Oh, sure. Blueberries.
They're the only two states where you don't pump your gas.
No way.
Yeah. And in fact, actually, I think Oregon actually just did away with it. So New Jersey is now the only one.
State. We're so lazy.
That's right, bitches.
We're so lazy.
No, we're not. We're just smart.
Get out your cars.
We're just smart.
And we're employing more people.
Exactly. So 1887, again, the first state recognized it as a public holiday. By 1894, so figure again, about 7 years later, 30 states made similar declarations. Oh, wow. So it caught on really quickly. So also in 1894, that was the same year that Congress had passed a bill acknowledging the date as, Labor Day. This will be a federal holiday.
First Monday of September.
Mm-hmm. Signed into law by President Grover Cleveland. However, and I did not know this, the law only made it a federal holiday. I'm sorry, the law only made it a federal holiday for federal workers.
Oh.
And as late as the 1930s, unions were encouraging their members to strike to make sure that they got off.
Yes.
So via technicality, it's a federal holiday, but technically only for federal employees.
Weird.
So any other sort of like day off is from the states.
Oh. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll chat a little bit later on about why, but like they didn't even make it. So finally, I guess they're like, yeah, we'll give you Labor Day, but for federal workers.
This is something that always blows my mind, and I'm going to get into it too, like between federal and state laws. But like, why do we have federal laws then if the states can just change them?
Well, it's not even so much that, but it also seems like, to me, it's also one of those things where like it's that whole idea of like technically, like think about like the drinking laws. Technically, that's not a federal law. It's just that all states happen to have it as 21.
It used to be 18.
Correct. And it was the federal government that had like kind of forced the other ones into making that change.
Interesting.
But something like this where I'm like, it's workers. Just make it a federal goddamn holiday for everyone.
Agree. Yeah, everyone works.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, a majority of us do.
Okay. All right. So, you know me.
I do. You're Alex. I'm Nick.
Facts and stats. That's me.
Facts and stats.
I'm a facts and stats guy. Man, those words. I got a question for you.
It's also like an 8-point-something beer. So
yeah,
it's
8.6.
A little bit heavier.
Yeah. What do you think might be, and there's 5, the 5 most popular Labor Day destinations in the U.S.?
Oh, wow. Okay.
We live close to one of them.
Is it Long Beach Island?
No.
Or Cape May?
No.
Fire Island?
No.
Montauk?
They're all major cities.
Oh, major cities. I apologize.
Yeah, they're all major cities.
I just threw out a whole bunch of
I like where your head was at, though. Like, you went to vacation spots.
Yeah. So they're all major cities.
Yeah. We live super close to one.
New York?
Yes. Number 4.
Okay. So let's say New York, Boston. How about Atlanta?
No.
Charlotte.
No.
I don't know.
I want to give them to you?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so in order,
yeah,
we have Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada, Denver, Colorado, where we went.
Yeah.
Chicago, Illinois.
Makes sense.
Manhattan, New York, and Seattle, Washington.
So, primarily because of the fact I know that at least for like Chicago and I believe Seattle as well, those are like hubs of the labor movement.
Oh, interesting.
So like
okay.
that's where like
cool.
you would want to go to.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
So this is from WildHub.com.
Yeah.
And according to WildHub, in 2021, 53% of Americans plan to get out of town for the holiday.
And I'm sure that number was probably down comparatively speaking, like to like 2019.
Yes, it was up from 2020.
Correct.
Yes, but probably down from 2019.
That's still, when you consider the fact is like you're talking about in excess of half
the nation wanted to leave their hometown,
which is
wild for the holiday,
which is really cool.
So 37% of those traveled by car to a non-proximal destination, so somewhere like decently far away.
Yeah.
Okay. Last year, there was a 44% increase in national average price of regular gas, not diesel, not super, not just regular. 44% up.
Buckle up, people of 2021.
This was This was from 2020 to 2021. Now we don't even know what it is from 21 to 22 because I don't have that stat yet.
Oh yeah.
This was just last year. I'm sure it's up even more.
I bet it's actually probably similar at this point again.
You think?
I'm just thinking based on the fact is that like while gas prices are still high, they're now not very much anymore. Like they've come down like 70.
They're
80
lower,
cents.
yes.
Well, no, I saw right around the block from you, which I'm gonna stop on the way home.
Just under 4.
I saw $3.79.
Oh, well, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, is that not a place I should
good.
stop at?
No, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Great. I usually go to the Wawa just because.
Okay.
I'm usually traveling when I go. But I do think if I had to guess, I would say it's probably more.
Probably still higher. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there were roughly 53,000 serious injuries last Labor Day due to car accidents.
Wow.
So like everyone getting back on the road, like wasn't a great thing. Stay safe out there this year, folks.
Just buckle up for one thing and slow down.
Seriously. That's it.
Buckle up and slow down.
I once took a defensive driving class, and one of the stats was even if you go 10 miles per hour over the speed limit for the duration of your drive, you'll only get, I think it was over a 30-minute drive. You'll only get to your destination 3 minutes faster.
Oh, yeah. Like that's one of those
So
things
it doesn't make sense. Like just drive safe. Don't drink and drive.
No.
I feel like that goes without saying. Anyway, on the lighter side, beginning on Memorial Day through Labor Day, there are an estimated about 818 hot dogs consumed per second. Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know why I just imagined someone like sliding.
Well, yeah, it's Joey Chestnut. He accounts for a lot of those,
oh,
I feel like. Yeah,
God.
818 per second from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Wow. That's a lot of nitroglycerides.
Yeah, and it's like pure, prime grilling season.
That is true.
Like, I love to grill, but like, that's an unhealthy amount of hot dogs.
Yeah, that's not a good amount.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that one.
So, and same, it makes sense because 64% of Americans barbecue on Labor Day alone.
Really?
So almost a third, almost 3/4 of the country grill on Labor Day.
we went over to my parents' house a couple weeks ago, and originally it started off with, interestingly enough, my mother asked us to all go over. They were going to order Chinese food, and maybe,
oh really?
Yeah, and about a couple days ahead of time, I had called her and I was like, Mom, I was like, can I tell you something? I go, we have not barbecued at all. Meaning, Nick and I was like, we haven't like barbecued at all this season. If we pick up stuff, can we just cook? And she was like, yeah, sure. I was like, oh, you just don't want to cook. And she was like, no, yeah, that's fine. And it was like my first time having all season.
Yeah, barbecue.
Which I think is interesting considering how many friends we know with houses.
Yeah, that is an interesting point to bring up, Nick. I'm not going to stare at anyone in particular.
Not going to stare at anyone.
Except for the person who promised to have us over.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, and you.
And you.
Yeah. I'm staring into people's souls.
I at least think we covered 3.
Yeah, we did. That's awesome. Yeah, we don't get to grill too much either because we're not even allowed to have like a small grill for our patio.
Oh.
And like we have grills downstairs for everyone, but like when we started using them or when we were using them, they like weren't cleaned. So like sometimes the like the fire didn't like go up the way it was supposed to. Yeah, it just wasn't like kept. So like we're missing that too.
Fair.
Last year as well, there were 73 races held across the country on Labor Day.
Oh.
I assume to like work off the hot dogs. Right? So this is like usually everyone's last hurrah. Like I said before, kids go back to school. Everyone's back from summer vacation. So the average child's back to school expenses are around $850.
That's very expensive. For
really
like
expensive.
Pens and paper.
That's what I thought too. So while the average college students are $1,200.
Yeah, I believe that.
But that's not as much as I thought. Like that gap is significantly smaller than I realized.
I think that there are so many outliers to like consider realistically.
To balance it out.
Yeah. Okay. Like I think, you've got on the one extreme college students who are community college students. You really don't have too high of expenses as opposed to you're a freshman that's going to move away that needs all those things.
Okay.
Like I feel like that elementary school, maybe that $850 I feel like is consistent.
You're probably right.
Yeah, as opposed to
between like book bags and notebooks and pens and all that stuff. You're right. And college kids, like usually the first time you go away.
Correct. I think you've got
snacks. Like see people at Costco all the time, like flats loaded up,
which is so dumb because they're gonna get drunk in the first like week and eat all their shit.
All yes, in fact they are. Speaking from experience, I've never been away to college, so just gonna go there. Speaking of labor, there are 161.3 million Americans aged 16 plus currently in the workforce.
Wow, so over a third of the population. Wow,
and I think it's 63%. I don't have it written down, but I remember 63% of those are in unions.
No, it's not. No, it can't be.
It's high. It's between 58 and
63%.
Yeah, this was as of last year.
I would double check on that.
I will.
There is no way that more than half of the U.S. population works for a union.
I will check for you.
Yes, please do.
More than half of. Maybe it was just 16-year-olds.
Yeah. I mean, I was
just 16-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just 16-year-olds.
Maybe. Yeah. I would. Whew.
That's too much for the.
I was gonna say if I'm not
entire workforce.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think the entire workforce it's only about like 8% does, or like 13%. Yeah, it's
real low.
It's pathetically.
See,
low.
I used to be, and now I'm not.
Yeah. I still am.
All I did was switch buildings.
Yeah.
Oh, you are good for you.
Yeah. A union that has a no strike clause, which I'm like, what the fuck is the point?
What's the point of that?
Thank you. I know. I digress.
Yikes. That sounds like really smart lawyering right there.
Yeah, right. That's I'm gonna take this cat and I'm gonna take the claws off.
Pun. Did you mean that?
I'm sorry.
Like clause in a contract? Did you mean that?
Oh no. Thank you though.
Wow. Okay. Good for you. In 2021, the national unemployment rate was lower than I realized. 5.4%.
Yeah.
And currently we're at 3.5.
Yeah, we're very low.
Which is fantastic. So for reference, during the Great Recession, so July of 2009, we were up at 9.5%.
Ooh, goodness.
And then at the highest point of the pandemic, ironically, right in the beginning, in April, was 14.8% unemployed.
Goodness gracious. Ooh.
Which we know everyone was having a real hard time.
That's amazing, though, that in a year and a half, 2
we were
years,
able to knock it down a lot.
Yeah. Wow.
Depending on the quality of skills and available jobs, I'm not too surprised, I guess, that there are still 5.7 million people unemployed.
No, yeah, I would believe it.
Right?
Yeah.
So we haven't seen a raise in the federal minimum wage since the Great Recession, since 2009. Still sitting at $7.25. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to party foul. I'm giving myself a party foul. I'm going to go find out the increase of inflation since then.
Oh, please do.
So we can see where federal thinks we can live at and where we were and where we are now.
Even in 2009, 725 was criminally low.
Criminally low. Right. So that's not to say there aren't some states that the minimums are higher.
Correct. That is correct.
But there are also quite a few states that still have minimum wage.
Meaning that
they do not have a state law that increases the federal minimum wage.
Why do I feel like these are states that end in like Mississippi and Alabama?
You got two of them.
Oh, really?
There's also a bunch of states that start with an I, like Idaho, Indiana, and Iowa.
Really?
There's also Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, New Hampshire, North Carolina, South Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma.
Oh my God!
Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Wisconsin are still, via state law, not over $7.25 minimum wage. That's almost half. But wait, there's more. Believe it or not, there are two states, and I'll let you guess.
Okay.
That have a wage set lower than the federal minimum wage. One of them is on the Eastern Seaboard.
Is it Maine?
Nope, lower, much lower.
Georgia?
Yep, is one of them. And the other one is way on the other side of the country.
Idaho.
Nope, said that one. They're minimum.
Arizona?
No, it's Wyoming.
Okay.
So
how?
Right. So they actually, I'll explain.
Yeah.
So their wages are set at $5.15 an hour, but because of the Fair Labor Standards Act, they are by law. Employers have to pay minimum wage at least
of $7.25.
Have to pay $7.25, even though it's set at $5.15.
Oh my God!
I know it's absurd to think that anyone can even live off that. That's ridiculous. But on the other end of the spectrum, thankfully, we have currently Washington D.C. is the highest in this category at $15.20 an hour as minimum wage, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
and then California is right behind them at 15 flat.
Mm-hmm. As
of this year, that is only for companies with 26 or more employees. Okay. But starting on January 1st, 2023, it's every employer in the state.
Okay. Wow.
So we've made some strides, but some of y'all Southerners need to either up the ante or start rebelling.
These are the same people that are also like, government got to stay out my business. And it's like, government got to get in your business to get you out the trailer park and off welfare. Here, I'm so sorry. That was a hot take. But these are the motherfuckers that hate the idea of big government. And it's like, you do realize that you're dying. You. That you're not. I just saw that the life expectancy of Americans has gone down.
Okay.
Again, the lowest life expectancy is in the state of Mississippi.
Because of diet, clearly the fact
minimum that they wage. Are not paid well enough.
Yeah.
Lifestyle. What do you think what do you think? How long are they living to on average? What's the life expectancy?
60.
Oh, it's not that low, thank God. But it's 71. Good.
What is the national average?
I believe it's 78.
7 years. 7 years is a long time.
71 is a pretty young, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's pretty nuts.
So heated.
And this is something I thought about off of this. Hourly pay, right? So in my mind, salaried pay is the biggest FU in the history of workmanship. Let me tell you why.
Please.
You start your job, brand new job. X amount of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting salary. Let's call it 60,000.
Okay.
Because I think 65, let's call it 65.
Mm-hmm.
65.71 is the median household income.
Okay.
In the United States as of 2021. You're new at your job. It takes you 8 hours to do your job because you're new at it. Right? After a year, you're still getting the same pay, but you do that job in 6 hours, right? 5.5 hours maybe, if you get real good at it.
Yeah.
You're still being paid the same amount of money. And actually, you're being punished for being good at your job because you're not making, so let's say you've created, let's call it 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right? Where you've done your duties and now you have like more work you're going to take on.
Yeah.
But you're not getting paid for it.
It's the unfathomable part. I don't know how folks, I shouldn't say I don't know how folks, but I think it's disgusting that, to your point, people are not getting at least an annual raise.
And even if they are, it's like a very small percentage that does not match inflation.
No, not in the slightest.
No.
Not in the slightest. Would you like to hear a little bit maybe about some of our labor movements?
I would love to.
And I'm going to,
because this is something I don't know anything about.
I'm also in the middle of a book reading about this. If anybody ever has the opportunity, is interested about this sort of thing, it's called, I believe, Broken Down and Beat Up, and about the labor movement in the States, and particularly now how, to your point, these are starvation wages.
Yeah.
Like
$5.15 an hour. Could you imagine? Like
$5.15 an hour.
I think Elon Musk makes $5.15 like a half a second.
$5.15 means that if you work for an hour right now, or no, $5.15 means that a month ago you couldn't put a gallon of gas in your car.
Actually,
that's disgusting.
Just for the record, Elon Musk makes an estimated $51.3 million an hour.
Oh, wow!
That would give us about $23,000 in a minute. So I don't have a calculator on me, but somebody do 23,000 divided by 5.15, and that's how many hours you'd have to work to make Elon Musk's minute.
Quite literally, what some people bring home in a year.
In a year.
Yep. But he's having a pissing
For sure.
send
him to space.
Contest over whether or not he should have to buy Twitter. Fuck
he
off.
Bought Twitter, didn't he?
No, they're going to court.
Oh, he's going back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as I had mentioned before, is that our Labor Day is very similar to May Day. So my question was, again, why is it not the same day?
Yeah.
So in 1886, May 1st was beginning to emerge as an alternative date for Labor Day, again, which is associated with this European folk holiday and International Workers' Day as well. So the date was proposed following a resolution by the American Federation of Labor, so a labor union, in late 1884, early 1885. They had passed a resolution calling for the adoption of an 8-hour workday, which would take effect, which would take effect on May 1st of 1886. So if it was not accepted that day, the unions would call for strike action, for a general strike to happen. So, there we go. So, I was going to say, I didn't even do my own thing.
No, I'm doing it for you.
Oh, thank you. So the ensuing Haymarket affair, I prefer to call it the riot or a massacre, on May 4th of 1886 had led to a schism, with some people calling for the day to stay in September, Labor Day to stay in September, while others definitely wanted to move it to May 1st. President Cleveland was one of those that did not want it to move. Hence, when he signed the law, he signed it into law for September, wanting to avoid any association with Haymarket. So, Nick, that sounds familiar. Like, I think I heard about that in history class. Was Haymarket the place where Mrs. O'Leary bought the hay for the barn that led to the Great Chicago Fire? No.
Oh, I thought yes.
But well done. And we're in the same city. Give yourself a pat on the back. Did I write this out? You know I did.
Yes, you did.
So, on Saturday, May 1st, 1886, thousands of workers went on strike in an attempt to establish this 8-hour workday. throughout the United States.
Boo, he said even louder.
Why?
8 hours? Why not 6?
Oh, no. Well, they were coming off of like 16-hour days.
I mean, that's even worse. What? We shouldn't have let that happen to begin with.
Well, we'll find out in a little bit.
Somebody stop paying Elon Musk so much.
So the numbers nationwide range from anywhere between 300,000 and 500,000 workers had gone on strike.
Wow,
that particular day. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So songs and chants were yelled, reflecting what was known as the ideology of like the Great Upheaval. It began with the railroad strike of 1877.
Yes.
8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, 8 hours for what we will. That was like their whole idea. Like, we can split this day at their 24 hours. Sure. I'll give 8 to you. I got to keep 8, and then I'm going to sleep for 8. Like, that's appropriate. So in Chicago, which was at the center of the movement, some 30 to 40,000 people had gone on strike. And in certain cases, they think the number may have even doubled that.
Whoa.
So potentially anywhere between like 30 and 80,000 people were on strike just in Chicago.
It's got to be almost the entire city.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So as the strike had continued, on May 3rd at the McCormick Harvesting Machine Plant, a guy by the name of August Spies had been speaking to the crowd, calling for the strikers to, quote, hold together to stand by their union or they would not succeed. So he was part of like the labor movement, the Socialist Labor Party in the United States. Pretty big guy. So the events had been largely non-violent at this point. But the end of the day bell had rang. And at that point, some of the workers that were in the crowd had started to surge the gates to confront counter-strikers. So like scabs and
people
whatnot.
who were, yeah.
Police opened fire on the crowd, killing 2, although there are some papers that claim that the number was 6. So outraged, there were anarchists. We did have a big kind of like anarchist group in the United States. People still are confused what anarchists actually are, but anarchists, though, quickly made flyers calling the police murderers, saying that they had murdered on behalf of business interests, and calling for another rally the next day at Haymarket Square. And on these first flyers, they had the words, "Working men, arm yourselves and appear in full force." So the guy Spies, August Spies, he said, a great name. And I'm sure I'm like pronouncing it incorrectly, but it's spelled August Spies.
That's how it's pronounced.
Done. He turned around and said, he goes, listen, I'm not going to speak at the rally tomorrow unless you take those words out. Like, it's not going to go well for us. So they did. They destroyed all but 100, of those, but a few hundred of those initial flyers. However, in total, more than 20,000 flyers went out in the course of a fucking day, which is wild.
Good for them.
So the rally at Haymarket began the next night under a light rain. The crowd numbers like fluctuated. The numbers varied anywhere between like 600 and 3,000 kind of people coming and going. Spies spoke first, followed by a guy by the name of Albert Parsons, who was an editor from down in like Alabama. And it was wrapped up by this Reverend Samuel Fielden. The crowds were super, super, super calm. Really calm. So much so that the mayor of Chicago was there, and he left early because he was like, everything's fine. I can leave. So by the time the Reverend was finishing his speech around 10:30 p.m., the crowds had pretty much dwindled, the weather got worse, and folks were leaving. At the same time, police were beginning to like move in masse to go ahead and like get the crowds to disperse. At the same time that this happened, a homemade bomb that was made with brittle metal casing, so like frag, and filled with dynamite was lit, thrown in front of the police as they were moving through, and blew up. Killed policeman Matthias Deegan and had injured many others. Simultaneously, gunfire opened up. Police started firing. No one is sure who started shooting first, if it was the crowd or if it was the police. But gunfire erupted. And while a number of reports, claim that the officers were actively shooting one another due to the lack of light, like there was so much confusion that there are claims that they were just openly shooting their revolvers.
Oh my God.
Police shootings apparently accounted for 4 killed and 70 injured, and in total, 7 officers were killed and 4 workers were killed.
Wow.
Massive crackdown on labor took place in the weeks and months coming, as was related to the bombing, because officers assumed that this was done by anarchists and all part of a giant conspiracy. They just needed to prove it. So it's one of those things where it's like, we know that it was the anarchists. We just need to prove it. So in total, 8 men, and I'm giving a super Reader's Digest version of this. In total, 8 men were arrested, including August Spies, Albert Parsons, and the Reverend Samuel Fielden, as well as 5 others who were associated with them, 2 of which hadn't been present at the rally at all. An openly prejudiced jury, and when I say prejudice, meaning that, how you have to be, interviewed to be a jury member?
Yeah.
A number of them had said that they were, against workers and a lot of what was actually happening, and immigrants and whatnot.
Oh.
Anybody that was sympathetic to the cause
kicked them right out.
So an openly prejudiced jury found all 8 men to be guilty on their charges, with 7 of them being sentenced to death and 1 of them being sent to prison for 15 years. So these men went through the appeals process. 2 of the men had their sentences commuted. 1 of them committed suicide the night before the execution, and the remaining 4 were hanged in the gallows on November 11th of 1887.
Wow.
Naturally, it was after the fact that the lead police investigator, Michael Shack, was dismissed from the police force for allegedly fabricating evidence on the case.
No way.
And the craziest part here, remember what were they fighting for?
8-hour workdays.
Yep. There is no law in the United States that still limits work to be an 8-hour day.
There's no law.
There's a law that's put in place for federal workers.
Yeah.
There's a couple of laws that have pertained to specific types of workers, like rail workers.
Yep.
But
and truck drivers.
Yep. But there is no law that states in the United States.
We have to work 8 hours.
Yep.
Interesting. But we've adopted it. Seamlessly.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, realistically, there are some places where,
I guess, right?
Come on, we got 5:15 in fucking Georgia.
It's terrible.
The hell makes you think that they're not saying you can stay on the job?
5:15, but the government makes them pay $7.25.
Right. So if it was up to them,
just change it to $7.25.
It's the principle. It's the principle.
I've known a few principals in my life, and I haven't liked any of them.
Nope, not at all.
No,
that's not true.
One of them closed their eyes while I graduated, and then we shook hands.
You're still upset about that?
Yes. I'll always be upset. I don't care how long she had to stand there. I don't care how many pictures she had to take. But gosh darn it, see you after. Open your eyes.
It's interesting because you're at the beginning of the alphabet, too.
You know what? You're right. There's no excuse. Absolutely no excuse.
I don't know what to tell you.
She thought those glasses were hiding.
You ain't fooling no one.
Not in the sunlight.
Not this one.
Not in the sunlight.
Damn it.
Somebody go to your job.
And tell your boss to shove it. Oh, no, is that not what
I was going to say?
I'm
but
sorry.
You know what? I'm not really against it.
I wouldn't.
How much do you value your job?
How much do you value your dignity?
Those are not the same question.
But they are,
but also answerable the same way.
Very much related.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, and on that note, you know what? Everyone stay safe for Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
Well, actually, you already had your Labor Day weekend. So why don't you stay safe continuing the rest of the year.
And make sure that you like us.
Yeah.
And follow us.
And subscribe.
Tap
that little notification bell.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead tap that
I think it's quick. A plus button.
Yeah, tap that real quick.
On Spotify, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
And don't wear white.
Ooh, Oh, did you just tap it?
If you're not elitist, oh my God, Nick's getting tickled. Please stop the camera.
I think they just tapped it. Do it again harder.
Goodbye.
Bye. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry.